And it's that time again. It's time to do some awards. It was so hard to decide on the brass player of the year because our brass players all together just really brought it together here, especially at the end of the year. But the people spoke, and they chose an incredible 7th grade trumpet player. So this musician came in and hadn't really had the chance to play too much before coming into the program. And something really happened. And I noticed that as time went on, this student just began to really develop not just a love of trumpet and music, but a specific love of jazz. And as time went on, more and more, I began to see something so beautiful that I don't really see all too often with too many musicians. And I call it the soul instrument connection. You can tell when this kid plays that he's got it in his soul. Everything he plays, it comes from the heart, it comes from the soul. That's why I'm so proud and honored to give this award to Ethan Peters. This one's going to be no shock to anybody. Because if you know this student, then you know that this is probably one of the hardest working students I've ever worked with. And started out this year as a total beginner on her instrument, and in just a handful of months, switched from symphonic band to wind ensemble, and then became the only beginner I've ever known to take second chair in county honor band, and then continues to work up her section, taking second chair in her section, and no, she just doesn't stop. She just keeps on working and climbing the ladder, getting better all the time, constantly, and to the point where she was selected as one of our soloists at festival. Simply unbelievable for Beginner of the Year, Joslyn Dewett. This one's not a surprise either. For anybody who knows this student, I have said it before and I'll say it again. This student, I think, is one of the biggest, if not the single most pivotal person in the development of this wind ensemble. And certainly what we know is that great ensembles require great leadership. And I cannot think of a single greater leader. She is compassionate, she's kind, she's thoughtful, she's fair, she's logical, she's all of these things and more. She's someone that I know that I can rely on when a concert's happening and I'm kind of like over my head a little bit. She's right there and always there to make sure that everybody's okay. Whenever a student has an issue prior to a concert or something, or maybe they're kind of getting really anxious or they're having some sort of a struggle, she's right there. It doesn't matter if they're in this ensemble or in another one. She takes care of people. And her heart and her passion is the biggest reason why she is our outstanding leader of the year. And that's Kiara Kuhl. Outstanding musicianship could go to just about anybody on this stage right now. But the people spoke, and I couldn't agree more. This student has been another one of those constants who I think a lot of people have been looking up to. And I want to actually give a shout out right now because this student, of course, was taught originally, as so many of these students on the stage, by the one, the only, the legend, Kathy Evans. If you could stand and be recognized just for a moment. It's no surprise that our outstanding musician comes from Silva because, after all, if you know Mrs. Evans, you know she's an incredible, outstanding educator. And we would not be here today without her. And I know that Nick probably feels the same way because he is our outstanding musician this year.
Woo!
This award went to one 7th grade student. It's our outstanding 7th grader. One throughout the entire music department. And that's a tall order. We've had some incredible 7th graders who've done things that I've never seen 7th graders in the past do before. This is a student who took first chair in County Honor Band, but not just that, won a scholarship. One of the few students in the history of our program who earned a scholarship by playing her instrument. And so young and so early on in her musicianship and her musical journey. So I really hope that through that scholarship, through those experiences she's going to have, that she just keeps, man, she's got to keep playing. Because she's got a real talent, a real blessing with her flute. Because our outstanding 7th grader is Liliana Ventura. Okay, so there was a student that I've already mentioned who won another award, who also won another award, because this student is someone who is like kind of mutually celebrated by everyone. And so, simply put, he is always there to help whenever anyone needs anything. Super dedicated and passionate about music. And not just that, but he plays at high school, and he plays like a ton of different stuff. And he's just super dedicated. And I think that his passion, his love for music, and just a wonderful young person he is, just inspires people. And he inspires me too. So the most inspired award goes to Nicholas Bollinger.
Woo! Yeah, buddy.
You know what? I should have mentioned this. For outstanding 7th grader, there was a tie. I forgot to mention that. So that means that actually there's another student who needs to be recognized, because this is yet another student who started out playing their instrument this year. Originally was in symphonic band. Within a few months, jumped up into wind ensemble, and the county honor band didn't have enough of his instrument. And so I just said, hey, I got this pretty awesome euphonium player. And they were like, okay, let's give him a try. So he sat down, and he sight-read the county honor band music nearly perfectly after only playing for like less than a year on his instrument. And the rest is history. Not just an outstanding 7th grader, an outstanding young man, an outstanding musician, Rudolpho Fernandez. Now moving on to our outstanding 8th grader. Man, in so many ways, this person is kind of like considered to be like probably the 8th grade, because they're, okay, long story short, in the band, there's a band mom. Yeah. The band mom, you know, and the students have their own little inside jokes, and so there is a band mom. But when it comes to the 8th graders, I think this student kind of takes that position, especially in the percussion section, as sort of like the percussion band mom. She's super dedicated and compassionate, and just the first one to just sort of reflect on her own, what she needs to work on. And she has been whipping that percussion section in shape all year long. And so that's why our outstanding 8th grader is Amy Campbell.
Woo!
Okay, as far as most improved, honestly, all of them, but there's one student in particular who started out on flute last year, switched over to a different instrument, and within just less than a year had college professors giving him looks and saying on a recording, and to me personally, that this student is scholarship material, and at all costs, he cannot stop. He's got to keep going. Because we're talking about, like, they were just straight up saying, like, you could get a full-ride scholarship. And I told them, can you believe he's only been playing for less than a year? And they just said, what? And they were so amazed. And I just cannot say enough about this person. He's probably one of the hardest working people I know. And that is our most improved, Aliyus Cross. Most dedicated. I think that just about anybody would agree with this selection. It's probably something that's not too much of a surprise. This is a person who not only makes sure that everybody's having a good time, he's the life of any given social gathering. He is extremely passionate about his instrument, And you can find him in the band room almost all the time, just about all the time. If I never closed the band room, I would never get him out, right? And he'd be bothering me with that yeah. So the most dedicated award goes to Andrew Zumout.
Woo!
This next award goes to a student who plays an instrument that unfortunately is all too often forgot about. Sadness. But it's one of the most important instruments of any wind band. And this player took first chair in County Honor Band again, and as a 7th grader of all things, and has been an absolute anchor for this group all year long. And somebody who's inspired all the people around them. As a matter of fact, she was the one who I just simply said, okay, you know how the chairs and everything goes, right? You're in charge, go. And she just was able to manage this whole operation without any of my assistance. And that's a testament to how incredible this student is. So the Woodwind of the year is Claire Vallejos. The next award goes to an unbelievable percussionist, not just an unbelievable percussionist, an unbelievable musician. This is a student who took first chair in County Honor Band, another one of those, and also plays string instruments as well, and keeps up both of those things incredibly well. One of the most just passionate, young, dedicated musicians I've had the pleasure of getting to know, and certainly an incredible leader. Our percussionist of the year is Alexis Uch. And last but not least, the final award of the night. It goes, this is called the Esprit Award, and only one student in the entire music department, I'm certain of this one, only one student in the entire music department earns this award. Esprit basically means, when we think about the quintessential music student, and the spirit of the band, the spirit of the music department, who comes to mind? And the people voted, and the people decided. And this student is kind, compassionate, giving. Someone who might just sneak through the cracks because she likes to kind of stick to herself quite a bit. But she's super dedicated, super compassionate, and clearly somebody that everybody kind of unanimously agreed is sort of like this spirit of the band, the student who encapsulates everything we're all about. So our Esprit Award this year goes to Ledesma. Now, I do want to get the show on the road because we all want to eat some desserts and things like that. So, I want to just quickly recognize the 8th graders who've been up here for 2 years. This is going to be their final performance with us, and I want to make sure to give them a moment. So, 8th graders who've been playing for 2 years with us, please stand and be recognized now.
Fonzi, you do a lot for all of these kids and all of these kids and all the kids who are not here that we saw last Tuesday. And we all appreciate